Hello everybody, it's Nate, aka Devil Talk, and I'm back with a complete walkthrough for Malikah'sWell, the level 77 dungeon in Shadowbringers for Final Fantasy Online. This dungeon will drop level 412 gear, consists of your normal groups of trash mob pools throughout, 3 bosses, and let's get straight to the start of this neat dungeon. First of all, most of all the trash mobs before you get to the bosses do not really consist of any special sort of mechanics that you'll have to pay attention to. Some of them can hit kind of hard though, so be careful unless you're actually with a group of people that can handle this and before you make a large pool. Other than that, they're really not that difficult to deal with these mobs. You can burn them down rather quickly and get on to your first boss. The first boss of this dungeon is against the Greater Armadillo. This guy has several different moves, but nothing really too earth-shatteringly difficult when it comes to the mechanics. First of all is a move known as Stone Flail, where he will jump and slam the ground repeatedly, normally 2 waves, that will cause boulders to fall from the ceiling and also make ground AoE circles appear on the floor. Just avoid them and you'll be fine. You will take a little bit of damage, but nothing that major. His next move is known as Head Toss, where he will place a stack marker on a player and he'll follow it with a move, a radial AoE move. And what you'll want to do is when you get a stack marker, get real close to the boss, because when he actually does the move, he will throw his tail, which is known as the Morning Star, at that character and it'll land on the ground. After that move happens, he will follow it up with a move known as Right Round, and he will connect a tether to the Morning Star part of his tail he threw at you. And depending how far away or close you are, it will make him do a 180-degree swing attack. So if you're super close, it'll make it right after he does that head toss move. You can get away from him and you won't take any damage from Right Round. If you're too far away when he does it, it'll make him do a really big sweeping 180-degree attack, and it will cause a knockback effect and actually hurt you pretty significantly. Now, his next mechanic is known as Flail Smash, where the boss will jump into the center of the arena, causing damage, followed by a large donut AoE on the outside of the arena, and also some random smaller AoEs that appear at the same time. You'll want to avoid the smaller AoEs and, of course, avoid the large donut AoE. Now, around this time, he'll start calling these ads, these little tiny pack armadillos, to the outside of the arena. You'll want to burn them down as fast as possible, because his next move he will do is known as Deep Draught, and it will be a damage up buff that he will apply to any of the remaining surviving pack armadillos and make them where they hit a lot harder and are harder to kill. As long as you burn the pack armadillos down fast enough, you won't have to deal with them, and that's really the only main mechanics with this boss. Stone Flail, where he'll jump to the ground and cause 2 waves of boulders to fall from the ceiling and some ground AoEs. Head Toss, which is a stack marker where you want to get super close, where he'll follow it with a move known as Right Round, where you want to get super far away from him. And Flail Smash, where he'll jump to the center, causing damage, followed by a very large donut AoE on the outside of the arena and some smaller AoEs around the center. Just pay close attention to these. You'll be able to beat the Greater Armadillo and move on to your next set of trash mobs. The next set of trash mobs aren't really anything to really worry about. They do hit a little harder than the first set, but other than that, they don't really pose too much of a threat in terms of any sort of mechanics that you're not used to dealing with normal ads. Just watch out for some of the little AoEs they throw at you, and if you need to slow down and pull a smaller batch to avoid having a wipe, go right ahead, but it's not really too difficult as long as you're experienced. You'll be able to burn down this second set of trash mobs and already get onto your second boss. Alright, the second boss is against Amphibious Talos. That's right, it is pretty much a bucket-headed Talos guy. This guy only has like 4 main mechanics you'll have to watch out for. First of all is FFXIV, which is basically your standard issue tank buster. Just heal through it, you'll be fine. Now the next move is known as Well Bore. This one is quite interesting, where he will go to the center and cast a very large circle AoE that will go off when he starts to drill his hand in the ground. Now when he does this, 4 more smaller AoE circles will appear on the outside and start shooting water out of them. Now at this point, if you get hit by any of the water, you will receive a bleed, which you can remove, and also a debuff known as Soak soaking wet, which will cause a slow and cannot be removed. Now, the next main mechanic he will do after he does well bore, so you have to deal with it, is known as high pressure, where it's a knockback effect where he will knock you backwards. Just try to position yourself to where when you get knocked back, you avoid those water plumes. Now, his last main mechanic you have to deal with is a tie-in to Wellbore and High Pressure. Right after Wellbore and High Pressure, he will cast a move known as Swift Spill, where an arrow will start spinning around him either in a clockwise or counterclockwise direction. You'll want to stay behind him and follow him as he turns, because he will fire off water blasts in his front direction that will cause a knockback and vulnerability stacks. Just kind of look at it as the guy that you had to fight in the one raid. You should be fine with this. It's nowhere near as difficult. The only tricky part is being close enough to him to avoid it when he's doing it and be able to see past those water plumes. But other than that, that's the only mechanics this boss actually has, is Epis, which is a tank buster, Wellbore, where he'll go to the center and cast a large circle AoE that will go off once he starts drilling in the ground, then where 4 more smaller AoE circles will appear and shoot water out of the ground. High Pressure, he'll knock you back through the water, and Swift Spill, where he will either spin in a clockwise or counterclockwise motion, firing off water blasts towards his front. As long as you pay close attention, you'll be able to beat the Amphibious Talos and get on to your third and final pack of trash mobs for this dungeon. This last set of trash mobs, there's nothing really out of the ordinary. Just treat them like you have the first 2 groups. You'll be able to burn through them pretty quickly and finally get to the third and final boss of this dungeon. Alright, the final boss battle of this dungeon is against the killer coin with wings. It is Storage. This boss consists of 5 main mechanics, but he will mix it up by combining them later on in the battle, so you'll have to be on your toes to avoid some of the massive AoEs this boss will throw at you. Now, first of all, the first move he normally will use will be known as Intestinal Crank. It is a room-wide AoE that is totally unavoidable. All you can do is heal through it. Now, the next main mechanic move he'll do is known as Heretic's Fork, where you'll see these weird diamond-shaped boxes, these weird triangles that'll appear throughout the arena in a certain order, and after a set amount of time, they will go off and shoot lasers from their sides. You'll want to position yourself directly where the corners are of these boxes in the way that they appear in order to avoid their blasts. It can be kind of tricky, and as the battle goes on, he will add more of these things. The next main mechanic is known as Breaking Wheel, where it is a circle of safety underneath the boss. Self-explanatory, if you see this move, get directly underneath the boss to avoid his arena-wide AoE blast. As long as you're underneath him, you'll be fine. The next main mechanic is known as Crystal Nail. This is where 4 feathered nails will appear around the boss in the arena, and you'll want to move to each one as they land before they go off to avoid their blasts. Now, this is the part where it gets complicated. There's a move known as Censor, where basically she'll start copying her previous attacks, but combining them. You'll have the Crystal Nail that'll be combined with either the Heretic's Forks or the Breaking Wheels. So you'll have to pay close attention to the either box of the triangles from the Heretic's Forks to avoid the shooting lasers that come from the sides, along with the Crystal Nails, or the Breaking Wheels, which is the circle of safety. Now, like I said, as you go through this, she will combine it with either Breaking Wheel or Heretic's Fork. So you have to be on your toes to avoid getting your butt kicked with all these different AoE blasts going off. It can be quite tricky, but once you kind of figure out the direction of the way they're going to blast out of the corners, you should be fine. Pretty much deal with these mechanics: the Intestinal Crank, which is a room-wide AoE that's unavoidable, the Heretic's Fork, where the box of triangles that shoot lasers from their sides, the Breaking Wheels, which is a circle of safety underneath the boss, the Crystal Nails, which are the 4 feathered nails that appear around the boss that go off at a certain amount of time, and Censor, where basically she'll combine these. As long as you're on your toes, you'll be able to kick this boss's butt and complete this dungeon, and maybe just get some sweet item drops, or at least some level 412 gear. This was Nate, aka Double Dog, and I want to thank each and every one of you for watching these videos. Make sure to hit the like button if you find this helpful in any way. If you don't find it helpful, Don't hit the dislike, just let me know why so I can improve. Make sure to always hit that bell icon to stay updated whenever I release any new videos. And remember, I always end my videos by saying, have fun, play hard, and remember people, the devil is in the details. Peace out.